the headlines, one killed, homes burnt in Plateau land disputes. Ibadan police student protest renaming shut gates. Niger State report 349 disaster deaths in 9 months. On the foreign scene, Gaza infant starve as Israel blocks baby formula. Hello and welcome to Trust News Updates. My name is Idris Dayabaturi. One person was reportedly killed while several houses were burnt during a clash between members of two families over land dispute in Kopkopshe village in Tunkus district of Mikango local government area of Plateau State. Trust TV gathered that the incident occurred on Sunday, with reports indicating that the warring parties have been at loggerheads for over 2 years over who rightly inherited the farm from their parents. Mkat Joseph Lakai, the media aide to the chairman of Mikango local government area, confirmed the development on Tuesday, saying the chairman had visited the affected community on Monday and described the incident as barbaric and uncalled for. According to Lakai, during the visit, Al-Ghali strongly condemned the outbreak of violence, describing it as unnecessary and unacceptable, and assured the community that the government has taken prompt measures to prevent further escalation. He said Al-Ghali extended condolences to the deceased family, urging them not to take vengeance for the law into their hands, as the security agencies are carrying out investigation to ensure that the perpetrators are brought to justice. Now, troops of Operation Arraign have neutralized 10 Boko Haram terrorists during a recent offensive on the terrorist enclave between Ran and Gamborungala, close to the Nigerian-Cameroon border. This follows the military's sustained clearance operations at the southern Lake Chad region. Speaking in Maiduguri, the Borno state capital, the theater commander Northeast Joint Task Force Operations Arraign, Major General Abdulsalam Abubakar, said several ammunition were recovered from the operations which took place at a border community. Manawa G weapons like anti-aircraft, ammunition and ordnance weapons believed to have been stolen in an earlier attack on Cameroon Defense Force were recovered during the clearance operations. Ngala is 154 kilometers from Maiduguri, while Ran, the headquarters of Kalabalgi local government area, is 183 kilometers. The two are border communities along the fringes of the Lake Chad. The theater commander, while praising the efforts of the troops in restoring stability, particularly in the Lake Chad region and the border communities, said the recent development of fighting equipment has boosted the morale of troops, adding that the theater will not relax until the last terrorist is neutralized in the region. Now, students of the Polytechnic Ibadan on Tuesday staged a massive protest against the renaming of the school to Omololu Olunloyo Polytechnic. During the protest, the students barricaded gates and disrupted activities. The report.
The students marched to the Oyo State Secretariat to demand the reversal of the renaming, which they described as unjustifiable and degrading. The renaming was announced by Governor Seyi Makinde during a service commemorating the late former Governor Victor Omololu. The protest caused significant disruptions, stranding commuters on key roads in Ibadan.
We know it's not going to cause any impact, but then the legacy is what we want to still leave. We don't want the legacy to change. The Polytechnic Ibadan is the only school with the Article D, which everybody knows, and that is what is giving us that leverage. Imagine if I graduate from the school now and I say I went to Olunloyo Polytechnic. The first thing is, what recognition does your school have? That's the first question that is going to be asked.
Should please and change back the name of our school. Exactly like me now, I'm a finalist. I'm in HND2 presently. Going out with Omololu Lawyer doesn't make any sense. It will affect our result. It will affect the people that are just coming in. So the government should please change back the name of our school to the Polytechnic Ibadan, not Omololu Lawyer. We don't want OOPI.
Addressing the protesters, the Oyo State Deputy Governor called for calm and assured that the message will be relayed to the state governor.
What the governor has done is not out of order. There's no big deal about it. But you see, children, I don't know. Children, they just feel somehow, and sometimes, what do we do? they are our children. So, luckily, Engineer Oluwaseyi Makinde is a father of all the children.
Your protest to this government secretariat is actually appreciated because you have conducted yourself in a peaceful manner. Thank you very, very much. I have listened to your president. I heard what you are demanding for. And as you know, the governor is not around. That has been confirmed to you. Your agitation will be taken and placed before the governor for your state.
A meeting was thereafter convened with the executive members of the institution's SUG, and a resolution was reached with the assurance that the state government will consider their demands and reply them accordingly.
Now, no fewer than 349 lives were lost in various disasters that occurred between September 2024 and May 2025 in Niger State. The incidents include 2 tanker explosions, dynamite explosion, and flood disasters across the state. The Director General of the State Emergency Management Agency, Abdullahi Baba Ara, made this known while briefing journalists on the progress made so far in the management of the Moko flood and other disasters that occurred in the state. He said the state has suffered multiple disasters ranging from tanker explosion, flooding, and bandit attacks that happened across the state. Ara said the Arraign tanker explosion, which occurred on September 24, 2024, claimed 60 lives and left 8 others injured, while the Diko tanker explosion on January 18, 2025 led to the loss of over 80 lives. According to him, the dynamite explosion at Sabon Pegi, Mashegu local government area in January 2025 claimed 2 lives and destroyed several houses, while the recent flood disaster in Moko town, the headquarters of Moko local government area on May 29, 2025, claimed 207 lives. Now, the Kano State Police Command has arraigned a 19-year-old man, Ibrahim Abubakar, for attempted suicide after he climbed a tall billboard structure in Kano and threatened to jump. He reportedly acted out of frustration over the absence of TikTok celebrities he admired. Abubakar, a native of Adamawa State, caused panic on Monday at Gadar Ladu along Zaria Road when he mounted the billboard and vowed to end his life unless his favorite social media influencers appeared at the scene. According to the police public relations officer, SP Abdullahi Haruna Kiawa, the suspect was brought before Magistrate Court Number 5 in Gedi, Kano. Kiawa confirmed that Abubakar was charged with attempted suicide following his rescue by security operatives. Earlier, the police said the young man was taken to the hospital for a checkup and given food as he had spent an extended period on the structure without eating. The incident attracted a large crowd and sparked conversations about the impact of social media on mental health, especially among the youth. Now, as Nigeria continues to grapple with fluctuating fuel prices and deepening public mistrust in the downstream petroleum sector, both resident and commercial drivers in Lagos are beginning to raise the alarm over alleged irregularities in the petrol dispensation. Their concerns highlight issues ranging from suspect pump meter fraud to inconsistent fuel quality and price disparities across different filling stations. The reports.
The commercial keke operator Ibrahim Tanko decried a subtle yet widespread trick employed by some fuel attendants who manipulate meters. According to him, the tactic primarily targets customers who are not vigilant while fuel is being dispensed. Speaking to Trust TV during a routine stop at the station along Acme Road, Ibrahim, who plied the Acme Agedingbi Agegi underbridge route, explained how unsuspecting motorists often get surcharged.
Maybe if you go buy fuel now, normal, you just see like you see say maybe you no look the meter. I would say they normally do that. They say if you just say this police station they do. Like the meter now, like normal we they say drive a now. If you just want to buy fuel of like you want to buy fuel 4,000 naira. Okada might just come now, maybe you just buy fuel like 1,000, 1,500. So you will not look the meter. If you don't look the meter before they start selling for me, if you just start from that 1,500 where they say for Okada or they say for that keke, you will buy like 3,000, 4,000. So they will just do that. So now what did happen with that? So some people don't know, they will say, this police station they say for no good. Sometimes I would see so all police station they normally do that today.
Despite such experiences, many drivers say they haven't identified the fuel stations they can trust. Several motorists noted that fuel purchased from those few trusted ones tend to last longer and perform more efficiently, especially in generators and motorcycles.
I noticed it when I bought MRS for my generator in the house. It lasts longer than the other filling stations I normally buy for my bike. So that is where I notice it.
It's not all about fuel alone, everything. But the filling station that is being on individual experience that you can manage a choice of filling station by yourself. Because what you have from there, that will make you to manage that. I believe that is what I experience about filling station. Like myself, I don't normally buy fuel from filling station because my company have filling station that control. But when I bought filling station buy fuel on my own, I explain sorts of things which who will I explain to? Who will I complain to?
Some consumers like Banjo Afolabi believe that shared experiences are exposing a concerning pattern. For many Nigerians, word of mouth, recommendations, and personal observation have become the most reliable means of evaluating fuel quality and service integrity.
If I observe that I have more commercial vehicles going to a particular filling station to buy fuel, any commercial vehicle, be it keke, be it downfall, commercial vehicle, I assume that filling station has a good fuel, or their pumping machine or whatever is intact. There's no fraudulent act in that particular filling. So that's the way I measure my own. So, because particularly those commercial vehicles, they are more observant in their whatever, in the way they do they're buying their fuels like that, because they buy in a smaller quantity compared to those of us that are buying in a larger quantity. So I use that yardstick to consider where I can buy fuel. So I cannot say this whether this one dries up often.
While the Nigerian government continues efforts to stabilize the petroleum sector, these voices highlight the everyday struggles of citizens with ongoing issues such as pump meter tampering, pricing irregularities, and doubt about fuel quality. More consumers are relying on their instincts and each other to make informed choices at the pump.
Now, the chairman of the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, Mahmoud Yakubu, has charged the resident electoral commissioners to work towards ensuring the smooth implementation of electoral reforms by delivering on their mandate. The INEC chairman, who made this known at second quarterly consultative meeting with the resident electoral commissioners at the commission's headquarters in Abuja, also announced the resumption date for the continuous voter registration ahead of reruns and rescheduled elections. Yakub stated that the commission was working on its regulations and guidelines to provide clarity on the review of declaration and return at elections, adding that this was imperative due to various interpretations given to the provisions of Section 65 of the Electoral Act 2022 on the review of election results.
To note that we now have recs in all the states of the Federation and the Federal Capital Territory. I wish to remind you that your work does not begin as the general election approaches. You are full-time commissioners. There are policy and procedural issues already determined by the Commission, which you need to implement without prompting from the headquarters in Abuja. Some of you are already doing so, but you need to intensify your effort. The Commission has announced the dates for a number of elections and electoral activities. For the next 1 year, from 16th August to 8th 2025 to 8th August 2026, the Commission is holding 5 major elections. These are the by-elections in 12 states of the Federation on 16th of August 2025, the Anambra State Governorship election on 8th November 2025, the area council elections in the Federal Capital Territory on 21st February 2026, the Ekiti State Governorship election on 20th June 2026, and the Osun State Governorship election on the 8th of August 2026. Turning to electoral activities, the continuous voter registration resumes nationwide on 18th August for online pre-registration and 25th August for in-person registration. However, the CVR in Anambra State will resume next week and will be held simultaneously in all the 326 wards in the state. This will enable the Commission to conclude the exercise and compile the new voters register not later than 90 days before the date fixed for the election, as provided by law.
Now, the federal government, in collaboration with state government, has announced the disbursement of 32 billion naira over a 6-month period to enhance access to quality healthcare services across Nigeria. According to the minister, the funds sourced from the Basic Healthcare Provision Fund will be released in 2 tranches of 16 billion naira for the first quarter and another 16 billion naira for the second quarter of the year. The minister hinted that 50,000 Nigerians were diagnosed with tuberculosis but yet to commence treatment, ensuring that the 2025 national budget makes provision for procurement of necessary medications.
Well, I think this arrangement that we have through the Health Sector Renewal Investment Initiative, as kicked off by His Excellency President Tinubu, is working. And it's working because of the strong collaboration with all the 36 state governors who have keyed into this, aligning with the political support of the president, our local governments, our development partners, and all actors in the sector to transparently interrogate the issues and work together to solve problems, because no one level of government will be enough to deal with the critical issues of basic health care for all Nigerians.
First, the transparency and inclusiveness is driving more involvement at the subnational level. It's driving more involvement of the civil society organizations, and also is ensuring some level of synergy among the various agencies of government that are involved, especially the 4 gateways. Of course, it's also driving more subscription at the insurance level. We are aligning our thoughts, and I think using that we can achieve more.
This is the news update on Trust TV. Coming up after the break. Kano tanners bemoan poor sales amid hide surplus. More news when we return. Do stay with us. Welcome back. If you are just joining us, this is the news update on Trust TV. Let's take a look at our top stories again. 1 killed, homes burnt in Plateau land dispute. An Ibadan police student protest renaming shut gates. Now moving on to more stories, local tanners and hide collectors in Kano State say they are struggling to stay afloat in the leather value chain despite the surge in animal hides. The surge, made possible by just concluded Eid celebration, has, however, not translated to a booming business in the state, which is a key hub for leather production. Trust TV's Abdulaziz Ibrahim reports.
Each year, thousands of animal hides, mainly from goats and rams, are sourced from both rural and urban areas and transported to Kano. These hides fuel the local leather industry, supplying raw materials to long-established tanners. One of the most historic centers of this trade is the Majima tanning area in Kofar Wambai, which has been active for nearly a century. Here, traditional tanning methods passed down through generations are still in use. For many artisans, tanning is not just a job, it's a heritage and a livelihood. Yet, despite its rich history and global relevance, the industry is now facing modern-day challenges that threaten its survival. As you can see, this place is very congested. and we don't even have access roads. Water is also a major issue, yet it's essential to our work. Government officials have come and promised us support, but we are still waiting. Though Kano leather continues to reach international markets in Europe and the Middle East, local hide collectors say they are poorly compensated. Even during Salah, most of the youths working here are paid peanuts. The dealers themselves complain of barely breaking even. This trade helps many of us youths survive, but to be honest, we don't get any support from the government. At the Kofarmazugal hide collection point, dealers say the business has become increasingly unprofitable. We face challenges from both the companies we supply to and within our own network. These companies often make deductions or reject hides over quality issues that the sellers we buy from don't understand. In the end, we make little or no profit. Lack of cooperation among us also worsens the situation. Stakeholders are now calling for urgent government intervention to modernize tanning and hide processing techniques. They believe that with proper infrastructure and policy support, Kano's leather industry can thrive once again. But without swift action, especially amid rising economic hardship and insecurity affecting rural supply chains, small-scale tanners and hide collectors fear their long-standing trade may soon fade into history. Abdulaziz Ibrahim, Trust TV News, Kano.
And now in business, the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited (NNPCL) has reported a revenue increase to 6.008 trillion, up from 5.972 trillion recorded in April. According to its latest financial report released on Monday, the company's profit after tax rose by 14% to 1.054 trillion naira compared to 926 billion naira in April. The growth is attributed to improved crude oil and condensate production. Output averaged 1.63 million barrels per day in May, peaking at 1.72 million barrels per day. Crude oil production held steady at 1.35 million barrels per day, while condensate volumes rose slightly to 0.28 million barrels per day. Gas production stood at 7.352 billion standard cubic feet per day, a marginal decline from April as sales dropped to 4.185 billion from 4.24 billion. And now away from Nigeria, the humanitarian catastrophe in Gaza has worsened dramatically as doctors warn that thousands of babies are at imminent risk of starvation due to the continued Israeli blockade preventing the entry of baby formula into the besieged enclave. Medical professionals at Al-Audef Hospital and other overstretched facilities say they are witnessing a surge in cases of severe infant malnutrition. With no access to breast milk alternatives, families are resorting to unsafe feeding methods, putting newborns at further risk of infection and death. The warning comes amid another deadly day in the Strip. At least 95 Palestinians were killed in a series of Israeli strikes across Gaza on Monday. Among the dead were more than a dozen civilians attempting to collect food at U.S.-Israel-backed aid distribution site and 39 people, including children, who died when fighter jets bombed an internet cafe where a birthday party was underway. And now in sport, defending champions Senegal have started preparations for the 2024 African Nations Championship. The players and their officials converge at the Julius Francois Bocande Technical Development Center in Toubab Diallo on Monday. A total of 28 players have been selected for the initial phase of preparations, with several drawn from top-performing clubs in the Senegalese domestic league. Tionguet FC, reigning champions of League One, boasts the highest number of representatives with 4 players earning call-ups. The camp is designed to give the players a head start in terms of tactical routiness, fitness management and team cohesion, as the Teranga Lions look to retain the title they won in Algeria in 2023. Senegal are in Group D alongside Nigeria, Sudan and Congo. They will face Nigeria in their opening fixture at the Amman Stadium, Zanzibar on Tuesday, 7 August. And with that, we have come to the end of the news update on Trust TV. Do not forget to follow us across all our media platforms and also watch us live on YouTube for more news programs and documentaries. My name is Idris Daye Bature, thanking you for being with us. Good evening.